passing on a message from the organisation team here. There's apparently been some changes to the venues for these three activities on the left-hand side here, the blue, light blue and yellow. Those locations are correct. The ones in the program are not. I've got that right here. Yeah, so your paper version is not for the left-hand three activities. Those are the correct locations. Thanks again, Andy.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. That was really good. I made the timings, mate. That's all that matters. Get into it, mate. It's good. Oh, it's good fun once you get into it. It's fun.
Oh, okay.
So just sort of, AV's okay?
Yep, I've already had a bit of a run.
Okay.
So, hopefully things are done. So?
So what I'll do, I'll just be sitting there and just give you a bit of a wave. It's about 20 minutes. Okay.
20 minutes is probably all it's going to take.
Okay. Plenty of time for Q&A.
Yeah.
Leslie or Joanne? Anyone? No? Okay, so we may as well make a start. If you're presenting, let me raise your hand if you're presenting in this session, the next 90 minutes or so. Looks like you've got plenty of time on your hands there. Alright, so my name's Dr. Daniel Fry. I work here in the music school at UNSW Canberra, and we've, as some of you may be aware, we've had for the past couple of years implementing Moodle here. So, and I've been part of that process. And what's really great to see is that in each of the three presentations that we've got coming up over the next 90 minutes or so, Edmond has this very strong theme of how do you manage this process. So the first one we have today is by Major Peter Grant of the Defence Force School of Music. Are you like having on campus here, or you?
No, in Melbourne.
In Melbourne, there you go. Made the trip up to campus, so thank you for doing that. And so Peter's going to talk about integrating defence music into an e-learning environment. So please take a look, Peter.
That's for you, Reno. Well, welcome to this session, and my aim this evening, or this afternoon, is to just give you a little bit of data about our experience in moving from a hardware-based system into an electronic-based system. Just some facts about the School of Music. We commenced our training back in the 1950s, and at the time there were two schools, the Army School of Music and the Navy School of Music. They came together in 1984, and individually they'd been operating since about the early 50s and began combined training. In 1984, moving on to the distance space at around about 2004, when we initiated training for reserve soldiers and sailors who are working in a part-time capacity. Today I'm going to talk about our past, the changes that have been put in place, why we moved to Moodle, the setup of the Moodle site and why, and I'll actually go into the site and show you some of the things that we've actually put in place, our success or otherwise, and then I'll talk about some of the lessons learned in the future of defence music training. So the aim of this presentation is to detail the process that we went through. When providing training for reserve musicians was first discussed, there were very few options available. It was not possible for reservists to attend a 5-week residential course. Therefore, if training was to occur, it had to occur in the trainee's home location. Initially, the training course was exported to a single band unit with a full-time member allocated to conduct the training. This saw training occurring apart and aside from the DFSM, and there was a result of some lack of moderation, and we needed to have qualified instructors obviously to conduct it. So the first method for delivery of training for reserve soldiers in the distance learning environment was that we put the material onto a CD and sent that material out. This subsequently developed into loading it onto a laptop, and the laptop was then also sent out to the trainee. The distance learning courses at the School of Music run from the 1st of July to the 30th of June, so they're a 12-month course, and obviously there is no turnaround time, with one course finishing one day and the next course starting the very next day. Training administration was high, and we needed a modern approach to provide a more accessible delivery platform that was both user-friendly and administratively more viable. So before we could migrate onto a new learning management system, we needed to prepare the way, and so we put the following changes into place. Those laptops that we sent out with a password. So we were actually able to monitor when a trainee logged on, when they commenced their training, and what sort of effort they were putting into that. This helped prepare the way for the Moodle course and allow some of the restrictions, etc., that we placed on our training. The assessments were scheduled with a timeline. This enabled them to manage their time by spacing out their assessments, and it avoided hundreds of assessments all arriving at the School of Music at the same time. We put an extension policy into place to also assist in pushing the trainee towards completing assessments on time. And DFSM migrated to Moodle. So why Moodle? We looked at several systems that were in place at the time. We looked at Campus, which is most in the room of Defence, but for those who aren't, a Defence online learning management system. We looked at YouTube Education, and we looked at Adobe Connect. But of those, we found that Moodle created a very flexible learning environment, was able to deliver the same training in a more controlled environment with better communication with trainees, and we were able to raise the training package in a medium that's easily adjusted and provides a smarter looking learning environment that is attractive to participants and is in a medium that is already familiar to most. So our site is quite unique, as are all Moodle sites, in the way that it's set up, and the site has been designed to ensure that the trainees conduct their training in the right sequence and ensures they don't try to learn one subject before they've got the prerequisite knowledge from another module. Great use has been made of the restrictions aspect to ensure that trainees meet the training objectives and RTO requirements of the DFSM. There had previously been no mechanisms to achieve post-course validations as sending out a paper validation, the trainee could just not even bother to do it, or do it but not return it. And if you're not getting 100% data, then you're not actually able to get a true validation of the course. So we've been able to get past that by putting a validation survey onto our Moodle site, and thus we are now gaining 100% validation on every aspect of our course, and we're gaining that information as the course progresses rather than achieving it all at the end. We've also used the quiz aspect of Moodle to further enhance our training, to put it into a different method than what they're normally used to, and it also, of course, gives them immediate feedback. So what I'm going to do now is hopefully show you our site. So we're hosted through ADEL and DLB. So our site looks like this. And over here on the right-hand side, you'll see that we have quite a list of courses that are now on our site. Some of them have been set up as master courses. That's designed so that we can actually, in our development phase, we can design the course in the master aspect before we actually go live with the course. Some of those courses are in development that you can see there. Others of them are currently running live. And I will show you this particular course, because this course is actually running live. So this is the section leader course. At the top here we have the welcome address from the CO. And as I mentioned earlier, we have structured our course in such a way that all our toggles appear like this, and you'll see there's a due date against each assessment, and they work down the list. We structured it this way so that we can make sure that they cover the material that they need to do in one subject before they move into the next. But first of all, we give them access to the site 6 weeks before the course commences to commence their pre-course administration. So they read their joining instruction, there's a list of the course competencies, the course overview, and some things that they've got to take care of, like the personal particulars, and in these places here, uploading that data for us. There are some instructions at the top here for new users. And as we go down here, they have the learning agreement, which they must sign and upload. We have the assessment timeline. And we have the video conversion tool. One of the things that we discovered when building the program is that some of the files that our students were trying to upload, they were doing in high definition and were 2 gig files. So we've placed on a video conversion tool so they can bring it down to a manageable size and then put it on. And then we have our extension policy. So moving into assessments and lessons, this is the first element that they have to attend, which is perform elements of conducting. And so we've set it up so that they have to read the assessment criteria and marking guide before they can progress through any of the lessons. And then they will have a text lesson here on lesson 1, and then they can watch the video of a similar lesson so they can actually I'll show you what that is. Yes, no?
section leaders. I'm Lieutenant Andrew Stokes and I'll be leading you through your course. This is an introductory course designed to improve your leadership skills and communication skills and give you an insight into the conductor's intent, which will help you out during section rehearsals. In the military, we have two types of stances, one formal and one informal. The formal one obviously used for parades, while the informal used for the concert platform. The formal stance is standing at attention as you would as an instrumentalist with your hands up, ready for action. The informal stance gives you a bit more freedom of movement. So your legs about shoulder width apart, whatever's comfortable for you, and with your arms out in front, nice and comfortably out in front, not reaching too far out, not reaching too far back, just a nice, comfortable position. Palm.
Okay, so you can see there it's a much better viewing platform for the trainee. Prior to this, they watched a video lesson of a class, which they didn't actually get the more direct instruction from the instructor. He's able to break it up into actual parts so that they can see it and then copy it. They can pause it to view it, go back and look at it again. And throughout this particular element, there are lots of videos there so that they can work through each of the lessons. You'll note that this little icon here is an iPad version because we discovered that the QuickTime doesn't work on iPads. So we've had to make some adaptation to meet the needs for all trainees to be able to conduct all training anywhere at any time on any device. We then have some resources which will enhance their training, followed by a sample assessment, and then the pre-assessment administration. In this element, they need to download the cover sheet, have it signed by themselves and their mentor, and then upload it before the assessment will become available to view. Once they've actually seen the assessment, they then conduct the assessment in accordance with the guidelines. They video the assessment, and then they upload the assessment at this particular point here. We're then able to get into Moodle, view that video, make our comments, provide those comments live on the site, and give them a pass or fail mark accordingly. And then before they can move on to the next aspect, which is analyse a score, they have to do this perform elements of conducting feedback survey. So we get instant feedback on this particular topic, rather than for some of our courses which go for 18 months, and they're trying to dwell back on subject matter that was dealt with 18 months ago. It can be very difficult to remember the points. So here they have an opportunity to provide comment immediately. One of the other issues that we had is because we are a Defence Force School of Music, we conduct training for both Army and Navy, with some very minor elements for Air Force. In this particular subject, State Protocol and Procedures of a Mess Band, the two services have different requirements. So we did some analysis of this and developed this particular module with the Navy lessons here and then the Army lessons following it. And then we get to the bottom where the assessments are, we have all candidates complete Part A, only Navy candidates complete this assessment, only Army candidates complete this assessment. But human nature being what it is, we discovered that some people can't read and started studying the Navy material when they were Army and vice versa. And so what we did is we put them into groups. So Army is one group, Navy is another group, and when they get into the system, they can only see their own service. So the Navy can't see the Army product and vice versa. And this has been very successful in keeping them on track and not distracting them by looking at material that's not relevant. And then finally down the bottom, we have a list of contact staff. Meet the staff, our names, our positions, phone numbers, etc., so that they can easily contact us if they wish.
So can I ask a question? The mentor, who is that and who is their supervisor?
The mentor is their supervisor within their unit, yes. In most cases, it's a person of rank 1 higher. Okay, migration to Moodle has allowed for a complete revision of all course documentation to ensure it reflected the difference in the training environment. There's no point telling someone they've got 5 minutes to read a paper in the classroom if they're actually doing the assessment online. So we revised all our material, and it enabled us the opportunity to re-evaluate our assessments and adapt it to the new training medium. It also required staff to adopt the new training method, and we're finding a very, very quick pickup, which is actually gaining exponentially. Perseverance and a champion to push the charge can make a big difference in any organisation engaging in a move to an e-learning system. And of course, I mentioned that we've included the validation survey. It has the ability to be used anywhere, anytime, on any device, and this makes it a very attractive method of delivery of training. DFSM has been operating in the distance learning space for many years, so changing the medium for delivery was not a difficult one from a mindset point of view. It enabled the enhancement of training by the use of clever media, use of quizzes, and some of the lessons previously delivered have been revised to reduce the length of PowerPoints and videos and yet still maintain the main teaching points. Prior to commencing the Moodleisation, we reviewed all training material to ensure it was still current and to ensure that we were working with current TMPs. We planned the layout carefully and ensured that all contributors were aware of the guidelines. It's important that you know the end state, that is what you expect to achieve in the process, and plan a realistic time frame in which to achieve the transition and allow time for checks. The DFSM is currently conducting 4 courses via distance learning and has migrated all 4 to Moodle. Other courses that are delivered residentially are now being considered to determine whether these can be delivered on Moodle, whether in whole or part, or whether by residential attendance or via distance. And we are now looking at blended learning, where members will do aspects of the course as pre-course, attend for a short space of time, maybe 3 to 5 days, conduct initial training, go back to their units and finish the training on Moodle. Implementing Moodle as part of the delivery method for courses is bringing the DFSM into the 21st century. Sorry. Forgot year what we're in. And will continue to enhance the training outputs for many years to come. A modern and integrated approach to learning is essential in this age of technology. Integrating Defence Music into an e-learning environment allows the Defence Force School of Music to meet the demands of a younger generation for faster, more dynamic products and to meet their expectations in such a fast-changing world of technology. Whilst it can be difficult to implement, with Moodle, the Defence Force School of Music is well on the path to a modern and integrated system that can adjust to the ever-changing requirements of the trainees and in the process meet the requirements of the Defence Force in delivering focused and contemporary training. So that finishes my presentation to you this afternoon. I'm happy to field any questions if you have any.
We've got time for about 3 questions.
Yes, I have one, sir. It's to do with your assessments, the online assessments that students submit. I just wanted to ask, it is over those longer courses. Previously to them videoing that and uploading it, had you just lined them up and they've been assessed one after the other, or is there a genuine time saving as well as the self-assessment?
Okay. Taking into consideration the fact that our transition onto Moodle has come from the distance learning environment, initially what the trainee would do is they would conduct the assessment in their home location. Their QA and the SME would be in attendance. They would film it, and then they would send that film to us. We would get the film, find it was not in a format that was compatible with any of our systems. We'd have to send it back, or the video would arrive and wouldn't work. So, yes, it has been. And that's to ensure that we have maintenance and consistency of standards.
So I'm just going to start setting up.
Oh, right, yeah.
Sorry. Any other questions for Peter? Well, thanks, Peter. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Now we have Katarina Freund. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
You have exactly correctly pronounced it,
Oh,
yes.
fantastic. From the AU. She's going to show you significant but largely invisible, significant but largely invisible designing inclusive courses and using education technology to support session staff. It's quite interesting because the next presentation also has a similar flavour in terms of how you manage that you're teaching with at the same time. So, are you ready yet?
Well, I left the previous session I was in early, so I don't think people are moving out of their
Right.
other sessions yet. So I'm happy to wait a few minutes.
Okay, I might wait a few minutes.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
While I'm waiting, thank you. If anyone would like to access my slides, they're all on Prezi, freely available to you to not use but view. So if you go to prezi.com/user/Katie Freund, that's me, and you can access everything I've ever done in the last several years. It'll be a thrill. If you're using an iPad, Prezi, you have to download its app. It will not let you look at a Prezi on an iPad in a mobile browser, which is very annoying, but there it is. Oh, I thought I was brushing my... It's beautiful, thank you. I was warned by our video production staff never to wear a scarf while wearing a microphone. And I do it anyway every time.
Since we're going about it in a military environment, everyone should be here at 2:45.
Okay, I'm happy to start. Well, hi everyone. How are you doing? Hope you're all excellent. I will step away from the table mic and turn on the portable one. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. I just came from another one about how to speak clearly and present properly. Did anyone go to that one? Yes, everyone saw you there. So I'm just going to do some exercises as I was just taught to get ready. But my name is Katie Freund, or Katharina, if you're my grandmother, and I have recently started working as a digital learning developer at the Australian National University.